Welcome back to the channel. I'm Austin and that's Jonathan, and we are going to deep dive into Sonic the Hedgehog 3. We recently just put an instant reaction out when we saw it on Friday, but to give it some time for you guys to be able to see it, we are now back to jump into spoilers and talk about predictions, talk about the ending and where the Sonic franchise is going to go, and just give our theories there. So Jonathan, this movie honestly was a love letter to fans. For those who played Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, what did you think of how they adapted this game and gave us the things like Super Sonic, Super Shadow, and all that?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was a love letter to the fans. I mean, as a fan of Sonic and the games in general, the Maria storyline had some sentiments to it. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with that. I know they changed the storyline a little bit, but they at least had it in there. You got to see Shadow's, backstory a little bit and why he was so angry, like when he finally woke up.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool. And so I enjoyed seeing him like have some backstory, him have a purpose. And when he was able to come out of his captivity, you could see the anger in his eyes and why he was so angry. And then as the story developed, obviously there comes a time where he realized that Sonic has gone through a lot too. He came from a place where he lost Long Claw, and that was very hard for him, and so they were able to connect and then obviously end up fighting together. So they did a good job developing that storyline. They obviously changed a few things from the game, but they did a good job converting it to the movie.
Yeah, and the differences from the game honestly weren't that big of a deal. I mean, like, for instance, the big cannon at the end was supposed to be the colony arc from that Gerald and Maria and Shadow lived on. Instead, they lived in the gun headquarters, and this was just a secret weapon. Obviously, at the end, Shadow and Sonic did not fight a big bio lizard like they did in Sonic Adventure 2, but we did get a little hint in that, and I did point out that too when we went and saw the movie. That black and white movie that Maria and him were watching in the flashback was the bio lizard, so it was a nice little nod to that. And then just the way that the Maria storyline went, like there were some differences there, but the relationship of Shadow and Maria was still the crux of the story and really the pain that Shadow always was experiencing. So that was different. Also, Gerald Robotnik being alive was different, obviously, because he was executed by gun in the comics, in the game, in the Sonic X cartoon. He was executed and he was not around, but I think it benefited the movie to have Jim Carrey play both characters. So really cool there. But honestly, that end of that movie, when they were flying through space, they're fighting, Live and Learn started playing, and I was super pumped. I was like, literally brought back memories to 2003 when I was playing this game in middle school, and I was just super hyped to see that. I know you were too. But really, that just set up for even a greater future for the Sonic franchise. We were left with some pretty awesome teases in this post-credit scene at the end with Metal Sonic, and then Amy saving the day, and then the tease that Shadow is back and that he is actually not dead. So what do you think of these post-credit scenes? What are your theories about where we're going to go based off of what we've been teased?
Yeah, I mean, kudos to Paramount for taking Sonic in this direction. Obviously, this is what the fans would want. Like, if the fans could write it, this is what it would be. Like, yeah, we want Metal Sonic, we want Amy to come in, we want Shadow to still be alive and involved in the series. And so this is going exactly how fans would want it, and so kudos for them for doing that. The Metal Sonic, you don't know what's going to happen, because originally, if you look at the lore, the Metal Sonic was created by Dr. Robotnik. That's not really clear in this situation. You'd think that maybe not, unless it's they're hiding something, and we're talking about alternate universes or something like that. So we want to get to the bottom of where Metal Sonic has just come from, and then we also want to get to the bottom of where we still don't really know where Tails, Knuckles, and Amy have come from, like which planets or where, what's going on back at their home planet. So I assume that they're gonna at some point try to venture out and figure out some of the bigger picture with all this. As you saw Amy kind of make her entrance, I know we were talking about it earlier with, she had this cloak on and she was kind of covered, and so you could see that she's done this before, and this is not her being here by happenstance. She was there for a reason, and so I just want to see some backstory on that and see where that goes, and hopefully Shadow gets to stay a part of the team and he's more involved in the fourth movie.
Yeah, no, and I like that you called out the thing about Amy, that she's done this before, because when we first meet her in Sonic Adventure, she's just kind of this really ditzy girly girl. She's in love with Sonic. There's not much to it. She does have the hammer, but as time has gone on, they really developed that character. And like I was telling you earlier, she really seemed like a freedom fighter in this post-credit scene, because she knew that the Metal Sonics were going to be there, and there's an army of them. So there's already an established thing going on on another world, or like you said, maybe a alternate dimension. And so I personally think that this is another world that maybe Eggman created these, if it's an alternate universe, and they were after Sonic for a reason. Amy knew that, and she came to his, his defense there. I mean, at the end of Sonic 1, we had Tails who showed up and basically was like, my calculations are correct. He's here. So, like, we never really got an explanation of why did he know he was there? Why was he coming there? Mm-hmm. Sonic honestly has a bigger mystery around that people know what's going on there. And are they even from the same worlds? We have yet to see the Echidna homeworld with like the Fallen Island, Angel Island, where he keeps the Master Emerald. We have yet to see like what was going on with Tails and where he's from, because I don't think they're from Green Hills, like the valley that like Longclaw and Sonic were from. Mm-hmm. And so some interesting tidbits there. But I do think that it'd be really interesting to me if we got what the 90s cartoon gave us with like Mobius, the planet Mobius that Dr. Robotnik took over and made Robotropolis and turned into like a complete dystopian wasteland. And so I'm wondering if Amy and the Metal Sonics are from a world like that, where Dr. Robotnik has already taken over, or some dictator has already taken over. And clearly there's like metal versions of all these different things going on, cyborgs, hybrids, all that kind of stuff. And I think we're about to get a really big tonal shift in the Sonic franchise, where we get away from this like family, hometown, Green Hills dynamic, and we're really going to be getting into more of the lore and jumping into alternate dimensions or other worlds, because some of the cartoons like Sonic Prime and all those things, they've been doing that. And so I think this is where that is going there. But my question to you is, what are your theories about what other characters are going to be introduced? Like, who would you love to see?
Man, the good thing about Sonic is there's a lot of other characters out there. Being like a Sonic Adventure being my like probably favorite Sonic game and the one I think back to the most. Obviously, seeing Amy's really cool. We have Big the Cat that I would love to see introduced. There's some other ones like Silver and Blaze. Those would probably be my next two that I want to introduce. But there's a whole plethora of them, and I assume that they're going to want to plan these movies out accordingly and not maybe just throwing everyone in the next one. Which we know is coming out in 2027. So I think that they're gonna, for lack of a better term, drip feed the characters that they have and continue to introduce them little by little. And I think that we're in for like a long series of movies. I think that'll be fun. But probably Big the Cat is gonna be, Amy introducing this next one. Obviously, Big the Cat would be the other one that I really look forward to seeing what they do with his character.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think with Amy coming, we're going to see characters like Big. I think they're all going to be part of this, maybe the same world that she's coming from, and Sonic's probably going to meet them through like an otherworldly threat going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that Metal Sonic reveal at the end, he looked so good. He looked exactly like I expected him to be. And I don't remember if you watched that movie, Jonathan, but Sonic the movie, like the animated movie that had Metal Sonic in it, it was like that quick anime, like probably like an hour long movie that we had on VHS as a kid. And I remember watching that, and that was something that I replayed over and over and over again. And Robotropolis was a big part of that, and Metal Sonic was created by Robotnik to take out Sonic, Right. And so I'm wondering if we're going to get a version of that. But I do think that this story, like you said, has a lot of legs to live on. And I think that this whole franchise could end when they're finally done, whether it's like 2 more movies, 6 movies, whatever it is. I think the final big bad could be everybody teaming up against Chaos. Because we already got adaptations of Sonic Adventure, but seeing Chaos at the end with all the Master Emeralds and becoming the ultimate life form, and then like Shadow and Sonic and all those people have to like team up to stop him would be so amazing to see. And I think that's where we're getting this. I mean, Jeff Fowler and team, you can tell, really love Sonic, and they want to give us the best adaptations of that. And so I think, only time will tell. And I think some of these theories actually are going to come true.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of content to work with, and I think that as the movies continue to do well, they'll continue to be made, and as we're seeing already, I mean, it's doing very well this weekend. So there's a lot of storyline that they have to work with, and they'll continue to add in characters, which Keanu Reeves did a great job in this movie as Shadow. I mean, he's perfect for that role, kind of that dark, ominous voice with like, doesn't say a lot, but when he does talk, he means business. So I just want to throw that in. He did really well as Shadow.
No, and I love that call out, because I mean, in our instant reaction video, we talked about how they've been doing spinoffs like Knuckles. And my personal opinion, I thought that Knuckles show was not great. It just completely different angle that they went with than what I was hoping for. But I think they could honestly spin off Shadow, whether or not he's part of the bigger thing or not. we have games like Shadow the Hedgehog where he was going after Gun. He probably still has a vendetta against them. I mean, after everything, and that he was deceived. And then he also has his villain, Black Doom. And so we can start getting into some very otherworldly aspects of this franchise. And with Keanu Reeves voicing him, and we know how he did, I think that the Sonic franchise can go on beyond this main storyline. And I think we can start getting some of these spinoffs with some of these other characters, because we just had Sonic and Shadow Generations come out this year. Yeah. And that story focused heavily on Shadow. Like, Shadow's seeing a resurgence.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm curious now that you say that, if there can be other storylines in movies, not just shows. I know Knuckles got a show, but like, could they do a movie that's not focused maybe on Sonic and maybe focus more on Shadow or some of the other characters? You know, there could be there could be a movies on all of their backgrounds, honestly. But that makes me curious. Do you think that they might go that direction and not just do show? Maybe they saw Knuckles not do well, and they're going to say, hey, let's, I think people are interested enough in a movie about Shadow.
Yeah, I don't want to see oversaturation, because when we, Lord knows Hollywood loves to do that. But with Jeff Fowler and team, and we've seen that they are faithful to fans, I think they could do this right with Shadow, because they already showed that in this movie. And just the way studios and stuff, they want to make the most money out of it. So they're going to make more content for sure. Mm-hmm. And Shadow is just as beloved as Sonic. I know kids out there that think Shadow is cooler than Sonic, because he kind of is in some ways. And so I definitely think that's going to happen.
Yeah, that'll be very exciting. Like we said, there's a lot to look forward. I know the team, like, they're on cloud nine. Their movies are doing well. They're putting out really good experiences for fans. And so I'm excited to see what they do next.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we would love to know what you think out there. Did you like this movie? And what are your theories about these crazy post-credit scenes that set up the future of Sonic and really awesome characters that we're getting from the games? Let us know your theories in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.